Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Just about 5 minutes away with Brian and Kenzie on Q101 from Q101 Fest, your chance to get to Riot Fest and the Minnesota Yacht Club. 2 experiences for 1. But let's get right to it. And you can check in at 312-591-8300 on maybe some neighbor drama you have going on, because that's what this is. Somebody is suing somebody else for doing something too close to the property line. Let's get right to the news story. Let's not waste any time.
When Lily Moding and her husband first installed this basketball hoop for their 2 young boys, they thought it would be a way for their family to stay active and healthy. They never dreamed it would become a source of neighborhood drama and the subject of lawsuits and legal action from their neighbor.
I have lost so much sleep over this. It's been so stressful.
Lily says about a year ago, new neighbors moved in next door and raised concerns about the location of their basketball hoop.
You stop it right there for a second.
Huge concerns were brought up.
First off, new neighbors move in. And Kenzie, I don't have neighbors because I'm in an apartment, but you live in a neighborhood, a real one. And when new neighbors move in, I assume you want to welcome them to the neighborhood and be nice to them and welcome.
No, I always bring over a pie.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. If we have a new neighbor, I do.
Yeah, a pie's good.
Have you thought about bringing in a pie to your coworkers that you've had for a few years now?
Nope.
And that sucks.
That does suck.
But let's stay with the new neighbors coming in your neighborhood. And I think most people want to welcome new people in. I really do. I feel like people are good generally. You get a first shot, you know? And these people instantly thought that my basketball hoop was too close to their property line. That's the first interaction with them.
Right. And I would like to point out, Brian, you were a new neighbor. So, you bought the house and the basketball hoop was already there. So don't buy the house if you got a problem with it. It was there.
Yeah.
Installed.
Well, here's how the story continues and why it became big neighborhood drama.
Ball hoop. The Modings discovered it was about 6 inches too close to the property line.
6 inches.
6 inches. The line from Elf.
6 inches. 6 inches too close to the property line. I don't know how you'd even, know that it's too close to my property line at 6 inches. Could it, if a 6 inches is one way? First off, how long is 6 inches, Kenzie?
I mean, some would say huge, right, Case, up top.
Hey-o.
He's like maybe even a little unnecessary large. I think a lot of people prefer 4.
5 1/4, people are actually very happy with it. They love it. Yeah,
Sometimes 6 is just too much.
6, it's just, oh my God. It's,
what are you going to do with all that?
It's a whole enchilada.
I had to ask because, guys don't know what 6 inches is.
Some of us have a painful understanding of what it is.
Because in order for this to cause the ruckus it has, I would have thought the basketball hoop was just on their driveway. That's like what you would think.
When I first heard the beginning of the story, I thought it was in their kitchen, the other people's neighbor's kitchen, to be so annoying. Because I think there's so many basketball hoops even in living in an apartment. I go through the alley, people put up basketball hoops in the alley. Chicago's a basketball town. But let's keep going here with the story.
About 6 inches too close to the property line, so they had it moved with the city's approval.
So they moved it. City's approval should be over.
But it didn't end there. The neighbor filed a restraining order against Lily's husband, which was dismissed with prejudice. They've now filed a civil...
Wait, a restraining order?
Well, they're hooping too close to a property line.
But to the dad, the husband?
Did he threaten to kill them over it? I feel like we're missing something. Over the basketball? That just seems like a separate thing.
Was he a little too friendly to the new neighbor? Didn't bring a pie over, but brought his 6 inches over there?
He brought the 6 inches.
I don't know.
They've now filed a civil lawsuit against the family and the city of St. Louis Park, all stemming from this hoop.
I have a sense of dread because we've just been under attack for a year.
The neighbor also asked the court for a temporary injunction to prevent the boys from playing basketball in their own driveway throughout the summer months.
Think about that.
That's insane.
Think about that for a second.
Could you imagine being such a dreadful human being that you're like, I don't want to hear that ball bouncing outside and kids laughing? Could you imagine?
God forbid there's joy in a neighborhood.
I will say, though.
Oh, boy.
I will say, it is slight editorialism by the news station to point out that they can't play basketball during, as they said, the summer months. Okay, that is putting spin and added empathy on these children. It's bad that they can't play basketball during any month, but the news station is going out of their way to say they can't play basketball during the summer months when it's nice out.
As they should, because kids are
That's
soft
what they're
today.
going to play. They're not going to go outside. They're trying to use a snow plow and play basketball.
I'm just saying.
Kenzie,
Well,
back in my day, Kenzie, we cut the fingers out of the gloves. We went out there with a scarf and we played basketball in 10 below zero here in Chicago. That's how we did it in my day. These kids are soft today, only playing in the summer months.
Wow, you really turned on the kids there. It's crazy.
This is slippery. It's gonna die. My thing is you don't have to like kids. I've said this. I'm not one of those people who's mad at you for not enjoying kids. But don't move into a family neighborhood. Do you know how many neighborhoods don't have young kids in them? It's easy to find neighborhoods. Like, I can think of 3 within 10 minutes of me that are definitely older communities. You're not going to see a bunch of kids there. To move in, knowing there's kids next door, and seeing a basketball hoop and being like, well, we're going to start a war is insane behavior instead of just moving somewhere else.
First off, I know it's 8 o'clock and we have Q101 Fest coming up, the keyword in a second for Minnesota Yacht Club and Riot Fest. But I want to say, Kenzie, when I came to your neighborhood last week, remember that when I brought the balloons out there and they all popped on the way there?
I wasn't here when you showed up. So
that's true.
I remember, kind of.
I don't know if it's when I entered the neighborhood, people ran inside. Because your neighborhood was big. I drove all the way through and didn't see one kid all the way to your house. And so I don't know if kids are even outside playing basketball. It's nice to hear.
Because you're driving on the main street. You got to go into all the subdivisions. You know what I mean?
I got to go into the weeds and the map.
If you're trying to find children in my neighborhood.
Well, I'm not trying to
that's
find
how
them.
You do it.
I just didn't see kids randomly playing. And I go through neighborhoods often and I don't see any kids outside playing.
And you're looking.
They're inside on their phones.
Well, they're all undergoing investigation and they're being sued for playing, so it's tough.
Again, that keyword coming up in a minute. I know we're running a little late, but this is the end of the story here of the basketball drama where the hoop was 6 inches too close to the neighbor's yard. They're suing, a restraining order's involved.
Citing safety concerns and
back up a little bit.
to prevent the boys from...
So the injunction to prevent the boys from playing basketball in summer.
Dread because we've just been under attack for a year.
The neighbor also asked the court for a temporary injunction to prevent the boys from playing basketball in their own driveway throughout the summer months, citing safety concerns and that kids are trespassing by fetching balls that bounce onto their property. Lily tells me they set limits on what time their kids can play.
20 minutes and then they're off to do something else. So we truly don't feel like we're being unreasonable about any of this.
Now, I did reach out to the neighbor who is behind this lawsuit for comment about all of this, but haven't heard back.
Of course you haven't. We're living in banana land. The kids can't play basketball because it's a safety concern?
Their driveway. Do you understand the war? Okay, if somebody did this to me and my kids were playing in the driveway at appropriate times and not doing a bunch of crazy stuff, if they were being awful about that, I would become evil. The amount of parties I would throw with music blasting, fireworks that would be going off. I would literally make their life miserable if they were going to put this on me.
Okay, we have a response from the neighbor. We're going to play Green Day. We'll give you the keyword in a second. And we have a response from the neighbor that Case found. So we'll give you that response in three minutes. I want to tell a super quick story. In my neighborhood, my best friend across the street, Steve Gorney, had a hoop on his garage door. So it wasn't a pole.
Right.
It was on the garage.
This is growing up. You don't have a best friend named Steve Gorney now?
No, he's still a good friend.
basketball hoop?
No, he's still a best friend.
Okay, all right. But this is you growing up.
And we didn't have air conditioning, so our windows were always open. And he would play basketball. I played basketball with him in high school. We had a nice little run there for a state title. Not really. So he would play basketball, and the ball would hit the hoop and then hit the garage. He'd go, boom, boom, boom. And it was like 10 o'clock.
Is he shooting or is he...
It sounds like he's got
Does he
a
have a
rifle.
gun too?
Well, I'm doing like a little bit of shoe sound, then the jump shot, the net
Okay.
snapping, and then the ball hitting the
Squeak,
garage
squeak,
door.
boom.
Squeak, squeak, boom. Yeah, POD's got a song like that.
It's saliva, actually.
Oh, saliva's
What
click,
a
click.
fake fan. Absolute fake. This guy doesn't know alternative music. Anyways.
Go to B96, you piece
Oh,
of crap.
God. Click, click, boom. Damn it.
Anyways, what was Steve Gorney doing?
I'm so upset I didn't know the saliva song at the top of my head. So, instead of going to court, filing a restraining order to get him to stop so he could go to bed because he was playing hoops too late at night, my dad just ran to the window, which was open because we didn't have air conditioning. Yes, an unprivileged childhood. And he yelled, "Gordy, enough!" And Gordy was scared of my dad, so he ran inside. And that was it. The sound stopped, and that's it.
Happy childhood.
Why can't you yell at your neighbors anymore, your neighbors' kids anymore?
Enough.
Enough! Enough!
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
Well, Tim in Hammond then grew up like me with no air conditioning and appreciates my dad yelling, "Corny, enough!" Playing basketball out there, a lot of yelling in Hammond, apparently growing up, how I grew up with my dad yelling a lot. But let's not get into my childhood right now.
Okay.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. The word is sweet, SWEET. Text that to 312-591-8200 for Fest. We have Kenzie's Crimes on the way in about 10 minutes. A really, really iconic Chicago crime coming up that involves the Chicago Bears. So we'll get to that coming up. About the story we're talking about with the neighbor suing the other neighbor because their basketball hoop is 6 inches too close to the line. So Julia Ramos filed a motion for an injunction against the Moding family to prevent their kids from playing basketball until the case can be resolved. She cited safety concerns and that the kids are trespassing by, quote, fetching balls that bounce onto their property. She spoke in the court document saying this: I have not complained about the noise anywhere else or any other basketball hoops in the neighborhood. I am complaining about this particular one because it's immediately in front of my door. My kitchen window's right there. I have to watch them. I don't want to have to watch them. That's what she said.
I don't want to. So?
You know that translates into those kids must suck at basketball.
You think
You know that translates to she's had the most privileged life ever. I don't want to watch them. That's a lawsuit, right?
Well, I mean, are you trying to say if they're Steph Curry, she'd watch them?
I'm just saying nobody's ever complained about a beautiful basketball game. Those kids must suck. They must be hitting rim nonstop.
Or she's white and they're not, because that's kind of the vibe I'm getting.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Well, we have some world premiere saliva music if you were here for the last story just a few minutes ago. Boom. 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 I just don't want chick boom on that sound.
That's plenty of saliva.
Oh, that's a shame. Well, there you go. You heard it here first. World premiere music right here with Brian and Kenzie
We did that.
on Q101. Before we get to Kenzie's Crimes, reminding you tomorrow at 8:20 at this exact time, we do head-to-headlines, the funniest headlines of the week. We narrow it down to 2, and then you vote. You decide what story we break down. You decide the content. Last week's winner was postal worker arrested on DUI charge after drinking vodka at house party on delivery route in Melbourne, police say. There's a lot there. Yeah, headlines like that. We have a bunch set up for this week tomorrow. We'll narrow it down to 2, and tomorrow at 8:20, you decide which story we break down. Kenzie's Crimes after Dexter and the Moon Rocks.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Ahoy! Let's go! We're waking up Chicago. Turn up the radio. It's time to start the show. On Q101 with the morning crew. Ahoy! Let's go! Welcome to the morning show.
Let's go. It is 6:07, 46 degrees, going to be 70 today. Looking pretty good. And coming up at 8, it'll be much more warmer by then. At 46 right now, it'll be warmer by 8. I guarantee that. Q101 Fest, your chance to get to the Minnesota Yacht Club Music Festival. It continues 8 o'clock every day this week. And make sure you're here for it because your chance to see Fall Out Boy. You just heard Fall Out Boy, Green Day, Sublime, 311, Hozier, and more. Plus, you qualify for Riot Fest one-day passes. So that means you can get there on Monday. Not Monday. There's no Riot Fest Monday. There's Friday with Blink. There is Weezer and Jack White on Saturday. There's Green Day on Sunday. Is there a Monday I haven't heard about? Is Monday anybody playing?
I guess you can be on the cleanup crew on Monday.
Oh, that'd be fun. Really good.
Well, I would rather go to the concert,
Yeah.
but cleaning
Better
up is
parking for the cleanup crew, though.
cool. Better parking. And also the cleanup crew has a fun song.
What is that?
Clean up, everybody everywhere. Clean up, everybody do your share.
What's that song?
Does your 2.5-year-old child not know that song?
The cleanup song?
The cleanup song?
No, because he's raising a prima donna.
No
right.
kidding.
Yeah.
Selfish.
Wait.
He knows how to say, bitch, pick up my toys.
Wait, what is this cleanup song?
Clean up, everybody, everywhere. Clean up, everybody. It's a classic. It's a Stone Cold classic. Top of the
Was it
charts.
from a show, though? Like, I've heard it, but I can't remember the origin story.
No, I think it was a Death Row Records cut.
Yeah,
Is
probably.
this it?
Let's pick up our things.
That sounds like a Bob Dylan song.
Sounds like the Wiggles.
No, it's not.
Clean up. Everybody clean up, clean up.
No, that's not it.
That's not it.
No, that one's bad. I don't like that cleanup song.
cover.
It's got 130 million views.
That sucks.
There's a whole bunch of cleanup songs.
Yeah.
Do you know who did it?
No, I thought just every child was ingrained with this knowledge.
Let's see, cleanup song. Here, let's see if this is it. All right. Let's see here. Oh, damn, this is a story.
I don't want to hear a story. I want to hear a song.
What's the song?
up, everybody, let's clean up.
No.
You know,
No.
like, that's not hitting the right way.
It's
Another
a,
cover.
it's a nerdy cartoon character, too.
I think people are saying on the text line it might be from Barney. Can you do Barney cleanup song? 'Cause
Oh, put that in.
oh, yeah.
God, I was hoping it would be from Veggie Tales. I'd love to see that cucumber do it.
oh God,
Let's see here.
that's
I
good
love my
stuff.
lips.
Thanks for checking in. Thanks for taking it from Cicero. They know Barney and Cicero.
That's what I've always heard.
Okay, this one's. Let's see.
Someone sent in all caps with like 8 exclamation points. It's Barney. You know they're in their car, just like it's effing Barney.
Everybody, here, clean up, such a mess. Everywhere, clean up.
You can hear Selena Gomez in the back. She's on Barney.
Yeah, who's talking there?
Well, the kids, they're cleaning up. What do you mean who's talking?
I only see a green dinosaur. It's not Barney.
Well, the Green Dinosaur was on the show too,
Oh, so there's Barney and then the other dinosaur.
like Batman and Robin.
Oh, that was it. Wow, short. That's a good track. It's close. That one's only got 2.5 million views. It can't be the original.
I don't know. I mean, first of all, the green dinosaur's name is Baby Bop. You should know that. Second of all, do you think that's where my love of short punk songs comes from? Is the fact that the Barney cleanup song is only 30 seconds?
The average hardcore
Was
song,
very
37
straight edge
seconds.
Kid of you. I clean up my stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Harper is Blippy, is Miss Rachel, is
No,
Wiggles.
you can't do Blippy. You don't know the Blippy scandal?
Oh, please, God, don't tell me there's a Blippy. Is Blippy
You're
even
letting her
canceled?
watch Blippy?
What's wrong with Blippy?
It's apparently it's loaded with a ton of sexual innuendos, like a lot.
Maybe
He
that's
got
why I like
canceled.
it.
To be clear, Brian's watching Blippy, not Harper.
Yeah, he has the excavator, like that song, and then we go watch the excavators digging the
I don't know. I
sewers.
don't let my kids watch it because it's full of sexual innuendos. I
Wait,
don't know all
Blippy
the-
has a scandal?
Yeah, like people are
Oh.
like super. There's a lot of people who are anti-Blippy, but
They
I
might be
didn't
a-holes,
watch it
though.
because of that.
They might be a-holes.
You think it's the woke mob coming after Blippy?
Yeah, Blippy, I don't see anything.
Apparently, he does stuff like he makes sex noises. So he'll be like, "Oh, it's filling up. Oh, like he starts to like do stuff where they're like he's obviously making like as if he's gonna finish.
God!
I'm sorry, the project.
It is 6:11 in the morning.
Yeah, calm down.
Finish the project. That's what I said.
First off, I'm just trying to process Blippy not being, good and nice and kind like he is in all the videos.
I had like swear words that would have been worse. In fairness, I was like, well, this is the easier way to say this. So relax.
All right, I'll do a deep dive on this.
You have to watch because like
Oh, I'm
you should
watching.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Blippy's big in our world, so maybe not anymore.
You gotta
boy.
look into that Blippy scandal.
Well, either way, make sure you're here for Fest at 8 o'clock for a chance to go to a festival where some sexual noises will be made at the Minnesota Yacht Club for sure, yeah.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. It's our, once in a while, I'd say our quarterly fact that makes your brain go, that we're all going to die. And I don't give much hints on that. That's pretty much it, that we're all going to die. And this is, Tuesday, May 6th, day after Cinco de Mayo. It's a beautiful morning, and I don't want to bring this to you, but why do you think this morning, Kenzie, just in a blanket statement, top of your head, first thought, why do you think we're all going to die today? And then the fact, I can't give any more hint on it because there's no way to do it without giving away a little bit, too much. You know what I mean? It's too obvious once I say it, but it's not obvious to you most likely unless there is something in your head.
Okay, so let's work this out together.
Yeah,
right?
just first thought in your head.
We're not halfway through the year, so there's no major thing there. It's spring, not summer, so not heat exhaustion or anything. I'm gonna say that we're all gonna die from alcohol poisoning because it's the day after Cinco de Mayo.
Alcohol
and maybe
poisoning.
we've also had too much alcohol, like St. Patty's Day. Like maybe too many drinking holidays have already occurred.
Cubs opening day, St. Patty's Day, Cinco de Mayo, big drinking holidays. Okay, Case, what do you think off the top of your head? Why we're all gonna die?
Are we not eating enough red meat? A lot of people say, oh, red meat will kill you. What if we're not eating enough of it?
Yeah, okay. That's noted as well. I will say this. I probably should have told you before I did it. It is preventable if we do something. It's preventable. And to Kenzie's point, maybe we stop drinking on these drinking holidays. We pull back a little bit, not drink enough El Toro tequila on a Monday. Or you're saying we're not eating enough red meat. We do eat more. You can take action and save us.
Brian sure
humans.
has.
Yeah, I love it. Not to get sidetracked.
Oh, brother.
How long do you keep meat in the freezer?
In the freezer?
So let's say you make some burgers, you get that big bag of burgers or brats, let's say, meaning that I had a party last summer and not enough people came, so I had brats left over, put them in the freezer. It's almost a year later, but they've been in the freezer the whole time. And you pull the stuff out of the freezer, Kenzie, and then make it up?
Yeah, so here's my problem. I've gotten better because I pulled a bag of chicken out and been like, I don't even know what year you're from exactly. And I've decided now that not only would I buy something and freeze it, I write the date on it, but I also keep a list of everything in my deep freezer on my phone so that I'm making recipes, so I make sure that I use that. It doesn't get buried.
Got it.
So I've gotten really good at it because once I can't remember when I bought it, I decide not to use it because it makes me nervous. I'm like, I don't want to kill my whole family because I'm scared of wasting $12.
I mean, some days you probably want to kill your whole family, but just not
For different reasons.
Different reasons.
You know what I mean? And it's like a different, different though. You know?
I mean, not when you're making a meal for everybody. At least you do it before that. Why make a big meal and then kill them?
But the thing is it's all different. So like red meat and like chicken and they all have different timelines that they're allowed to be in a freezer.
Yeah, my research has showed me that it's okay to freeze as long as you want. It will just lose flavor the longer it's in the freezer. Like get freezer burn. It's not going to be deadly. It just might not be good.
Well, red meat, because what is it? Is the sauce, it's red meat?
Well, the ones I threw away some brats yesterday, and I really was hurt. It was
You
like,
could probably do about 12 months on brats if you had a good deep freeze on them, not like a normal freeze.
well, is a freezer a deep freeze?
No, it's not a deep freezer.
What's a deep freeze?
A deep freeze is like an actual deep freezer, so it's not getting opened all the time because you're not storing like your ice cream in it and stuff like that.
Oh man, I don't have one of those.
Oh, you don't have a deep freezer?
No, I got an apartment. You have this in your you have this in your garage or something? You have one of those freezers?
We have a deep freezer in our basement. So it's like, obviously, it stays at that temperature. You're not going in as much. They usually freeze. I believe they actually freeze at like a higher level than the one. Because you're not going in. You're not going in for ice and ice cream. It's not getting as affected.
Well, I go in for ice cream every 3 hours, so yeah, it's not gonna.
I know. Think about how
work.
often your meat's thawing out.
All right. Well, I was just curious what you did on that. Case, I think you probably just buy meat and eat it right away. I don't think you freeze anything.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
That's not being mean. I just think you buy things and eat it.
Do you think I cook it in the meantime, or do you think I'm shoving raw meat down my throat?
Well, that's not.
If I had a nickel.
Yeah. I just don't. I don't see you putting things freezing for down the road. You're a very fatalistic person. I don't think you think tomorrow's going to be here. So I think you just.
No. Casey's so fat he doesn't have time to freeze anything.
Well, that's another thing. Just eats it. All right, well, give me that fact that makes your brain go. After the Beastie Boys.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Coming up in sports, what a night at Wrigley last night. And big news about the Blackhawks in the NHL draft. What happened, if you don't know, we will give you that information coming up. But we did talk about yesterday the Art Institute president who was flying from here to Germany and apparently took off all his clothes. And now he's on leave while they do an investigation. Case pointed out off the air saying that, if they didn't do an investigation, we wouldn't have known about it and it wouldn't have been a big deal. Certainly not top of mind situation going on. Instead, they kind of made it a bigger deal than they had to. Although we don't know why he took off his clothes. Some people alluded to the fact maybe he drank some alcohol with some medication, just made him feel weird, didn't know what he was doing. A lot of people have these things happen. They eat on Ambien. When they take Ambien, they go sleepwalking and they eat dinner and they don't know they did it. So I don't know enough to defend or defame the man who did this. The Art Institute, one of the oldest and largest art museums in the United States. We're lucky to have that in Chicago. We're blessed. And it's amazing if you haven't gone. But this situation is just kind of odd when you go to the news report from WGN about what happened.
The president of the Art Institute of Chicago is on voluntary leave from the museum after an incident on a United Airlines flight last month. James Rondeau flew from Chicago to Germany on April 18th. When the plane landed in Munich, police were called after reports he had taken off his clothes. CBS News first reported this incident. A spokeswoman for the Art Institute confirms this report and issued the following statement, quote, "The Art Institute takes this very seriously and has opened an independent investigation into the incident to gather all available information. And to clarify, James will voluntarily be taking time away from the office while the investigation is completed."
I think they could have buried it pretty easily and just had him come back to work, kind of like George Costanza when he in Seinfeld when he quit, but then he comes back to work. I was kidding. I was kidding. And I think it would have just went fine without it. Hopefully he wasn't doing anything very inappropriate besides taking off his clothes on a plane, which is inappropriate, by the way.
Yeah, hopefully he wasn't doing anything too off-putting.
He was just naked on a plane, but other than that, it was fine.
He was just slanging penis. You know what I mean? But
oh, I know what you mean.
Who's offended?
Somebody must have been. Somebody ratted him out.
Oh, boo.
And, with the Art Institute of Chicago, I just pictured, when I looked the man up, some very old hippie, like a long gray-haired guy with glasses and kind of on the plane going, we need to experience our bodies more and express ourselves. And he got naked. And I go, okay, I can get that. I can understand that.
In your mind, is the president of the Art Institute the guy from South Park? Because that's kind of what it sounded like.
We just need to just feel ourselves and see ourselves and be present with our naked body.
So you were hoping he was just this natural person.
Yes.
Kind of a hippie. Like, this is the life experience, but
yep,
it's coming off more pervy now to you.
I'm not sure. He maybe used the phrase hep cats. You hep cats out there. Let's just, he was at Woodstock probably. That's what I picture for the Art Institute.
That's what you wanted.
That's what I wanted.
Yes. When you imagine a naked Art Institute president on a plane, you were hoping it was that.
Again, I'm not trying to disparage the man. He might have had some kind of, mental breakdown or problem. But when I looked at a picture of him, he just looks like a dude. He looks like a guy I would golf with and say, hey, man, are we playing D-out golf here? Where if you don't hit it past the ladies' tee, you got to, go walk the rest of the hole with your D out. You ever heard of that, by the way? Anybody?
No.
Wait, you're supposed to pull your penis out when in golf?
There's an old adage called a D-out golf. So if you can't hit the ball past the ladies' tee, let's say you duff it, then you walk that hole with your D out. It's called D out golf. It's very immature. Trust me. I'm not proud of things I've done in the past. Some of them.
You did that, and the whole time your penis is out.
Yeah, just for that hole. Yeah, I did that.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's no one around. It's just the golf holes are pretty spread out.
Yeah, just a public golf course.
Yeah, but it's just my dudes with me. It's just like.
But why would you do that?
Well, why would he take his clothes off on a plane? The Art Institute guy.
We're not talking about him now. We're talking about you.
And he's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and you got away with it.
Yeah, it's just dudes being dudes, and this guy was like, "What?"
Why do guys want to see each other's penises so bad, and then they're like, low key homophobic? Like, I don't get it.
Well, don't put me in that category. Yeah, please, don't put me there. You can talk about other dudes, not me.
But it's a lot of straight guys really have a lot of jokes about whipping their penises out around other guys.
There's a big curiosity to what another guy's penis looks like.
I disagree. I live in fear of anybody seeing my penis. I don't want that. I do not want that.
Did you shower in high school with your underwear on?
I did. When we did swimming in high school, I didn't shower.
Oh.
I can't
smell like chlorine all day.
Yeah. But you know what? I'd rather smell like chlorine than have somebody that I sit next to in biology see my penis.
So
well,
aggressive.
Thank God you didn't sign up for golf. Your penis would have been out all the time.
That's right. You missed out on that. Well, it's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We'll follow the story and see what happens to this guy from the Art Institute. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.